Yes, ma'am, we can start. अरे यार सर मैं भूल गया चेकअप कर लेंगे विक्रम
I request all the participants, please mute your mic. A very
रोजी मैम अनम्यूट कीजिए अपने आप को
A very good afternoon to all. I, Rosie Tigga, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, SARASWATI College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, welcome you all on online workshop on gender sensitivity, organized by SARASWATI College of Professional Studies, Ghaziabad, in collaboration with Social Development and Research Foundation, SDRF. Let me tell you about the SDRF. What is SDRF? The Social Development and Research Foundation is an autonomous and non-profit, non-governmental organization. The SDRF undertake research studies, educational activities, and all kinds of social and cultural activities which are relevant to the contemporary societal needs in order to strengthen the very social fabric of our nation. The president of SDRF is Dr. Gopal Krishna Thakur, and the program director is Dr. Sanjay Kumar sir. I take this opportunity to warmly welcome resource person, Mrs. Rashmi Behel ma'am, soft skill trainer, education and career advisor, Dr. Sanjay Kumar sir, principal, SARASWATI College of Professional Studies, Dr. Anita Singh ma'am, head of education, SARASWATI College, and my co-faculty members and my dear students. Once again, I welcome you all on workshop on gender sensitivity. Before we start the program, I would like to request all the participants present here, please switch on your camera for the photograph. Kindly switch on your camera. एक ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ के लिए आप अपना कैमरा ऑन कर लीजिए प्लीज सभी लोग, फिर हम प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट करते हैं. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite Dipali Sharma, B.Ed second year student, for the introduction of our honorable resource person. Over to you, Dipali. Unmute yourself, Dipali. You're not able. Wait, just.
Rashmi Bal ma'am is a soft skills trainer, global life coach, education and career advisor. Ma'am had 30 years of progressive experience. She is passionate about enhancing lives and empowering individuals to find their voice. Ma'am is skilled in guiding personal and career development, modeling behavior, fostering social skills, cultural sensitivity, and conflict management. As a life coach, she has been working with young adults to successfully create strategies for life and behavioral change. She has earned her expertise across continents, living and working in the USA, UK, and India. Ma'am has successfully guided students in creating personalized strategies for career orientation and education. I welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Dipali. Can you everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Audible, clearly audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for having me here. A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm sure we are all feeling a bit lazy. Not everybody is on the camera. We just finished lunch. May I request everybody to be on the camera, but on mute? That would be the best way. At least I can gauge your reactions and then I can decide, am I doing the right thing or not? Am I talking about the right thing or not here? Your reactions are going to help me a lot and in turn are going to help you. So here is it. I want maximum participation from everyone. I do want your mics to be on mute, but if you want to say something, I would want you to raise your hand on the chat and I promise I will get back to you and will give you a chance to relate your thoughts with everybody over here. I'm your facilitator. My name is Rashmi Behel. Today, we are going to start our day. But before that, I need to know whether I'm the host or not. I need to share my screen. Dr. Rosie, am I the host? Can I share my screen?
Wait a second, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you are co-host. You can share.
I can share the screen. Okay, great. Okay, give me a second. There's a lot happening here. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Wait, I still want to make sure that this is full screen. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. I want to start today with this quote by Mahatma Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. And our destiny today is to become more gender sensitive. I'm sure all of us, some way or the other, we are quite sensitive about all the genders that exist there. There's a masculine gender, there is a feminine gender, and there is a third gender as well. We have to accept people the way they define their gender. What is the difference between gender and the word sex? Now, sex is something that is assigned to a child when he is born. The doctor looks at the features, the human features, the physiological features of a body and decides, okay, baby boy born, baby girl born, right? But as we grow up, as our thoughts we are developing our thoughts, we look around, we learn from others, we start defining ourselves. And the way the society and the way we define ourselves, that becomes our gender. Now, to be gender sensitive, what does it actually mean? We are actually going to work here through step by step through this quotation. Your beliefs become your thoughts. We want our thoughts to be gender sensitive. I want to start with a case study. Can everybody see this clearly? Yeah, here. This is the case study of a middle-class Indian married couple for 20 years with 2 teenage daughters. Wife is a highly successful executive with an international bank. Husband, he earlier used to work with Indian conglomerate. He did really well, but then he thought, I am bored. And later he pursued his passion to become a pilot. And he stayed a pilot, but then the daughters were born. And about 5 years ago, he decided to quit work to take care of his parents and his 2 daughters. 2 years ago, the couple moved overseas because the wife got transferred. And so the whole family moved. Now today, they do not live in India, but they live outside. But the husband continues to stay at home. He takes care of the daughters, and now they have a dog also. He has the best of clothes. He drives a high-end bought by the earnings of his wife. They own 2 properties now, one in Bangalore and one in the Scotland, bought by the earnings of his wife. Now the question is, where are his parents? The parents are being looked after by their daughter in Gurugram. This is a real story. This is a real case. I haven't made it up. Now, when I tell you, when you read this and when I told you about this, what do you think went through your mind? Tell me. Do I have any responses here? And I am struggling a bit to see all of you, but sorry. I need to have a look at all of you. There we go. Okay, so any responses here? Is there anything unusual about it? Anyone? Anything unusual about this scenario? कुछ अलग लग रहा है हमें? किसी को तो लग रहा होगा? किसी को नहीं लग रहा? Should I call out? Preeti, would you unmute yourself? Is Preeti Pahuja there?
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. Can I speak? This is Dr. Bratati.
Say it again. Sorry. Yes,
Dr.
yes,
Bratati
please.
does.
Yes, Dr. Bratati, please.
Yeah, actually, unusual, maybe it is unusual, not a little away from the regular ones, is that the husband decided to stay and quit his job and take care of his parents. And then they moved overseas for an opportunity for the wife,
Right.
which generally is not the regular thing that happens every time.
Very true. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
Thank you, ma'am.
और क्या unusual लग रहा है? Other people. Does anybody else want to share? Okay. Woman is, Manisha is saying, woman is working, man becomes a house taker. I think the society does not accept it. Okay. His daughter is taking care of his parents. Okay. The man has left his job for his parents to take care of. Yes. Okay. So any more comments? All right. So I agree. First time when I heard it also, थोड़ा सा, हालांकि मैं जेंडर सेंसिटिविटी के बारे में बात करती हूँ, पर थोड़ा सा मुझे भी अजीब लगा. और फिर मैंने बैठ के सोचा कि क्यों अजीब लगा. डॉक्टर नरसिम्हन, yes sir. Do you want to say something?
The couple have taken a clear decision after several hours of discussion. Otherwise, it is not easy to come out of that monotony. You know, it's not easy for a male to decide like this and come out. Since there was a better understanding between the male and female, the husband and wife, he could take the decision, and now the family is enjoying because of that firm decision taken by both.
Thank you, Dr. Narasimhan. And that is exactly what we are here to discuss. Most of us did feel there was something unusual about it. And generally speaking, I heard the word generally speaking. And I heard comments about, and I would not say comments. I hear you guys when you said the man has sat at home, and everybody is voicing something that has happened here. The husband has decided to leave his job. The wife has decided to work along, and she has decided to progress. The husband is happy to stay at home, take care of his daughters, and his parents are also now being looked after. Their daughter, who's actually married and has a family of her own. Now, the moment we thought that there's something is unusual about it, there was one person who used the word generally. Now, when we say generally actually means, किसने सिखाया हमें ये generally? हम देखते आ रहे हैं over years, as we grew up, we always saw a woman sitting at home, taking care of the children, being a nurturer, being a caregiver, mostly taking on the responsibilities of the family. Now, जो चीज हम देखते आ रहे हैं और समझते आ रहे हैं, हम उसी को ठीक समझ लेते हैं. And that actually becomes your gender stereotyping. जब हम एक सोसाइटी में कहते हैं कि ये चला आ रहा है, ये होता आ रहा है, और उसको कंपेयर, उसके एक बेंचमार्क बनाते हैं और कंपेयर करते हैं, तो हम वो कहते हैं वो स्टीरियोटाइप्स बन जाते हैं. ये खाली एक स्टीरियोटाइप है, बहुत सारे और भी स्टीरियोटाइप्स हैं. लड़के रोते नहीं है, गर्ल्स आर डेलिकेट, बॉयज नीड टू बी फिजिकली स्ट्रॉन्ग, बॉयज मस्ट प्ले स्पोर्ट्स, बॉयज डोंट वेयर मेकअप, girls should not wear shorts, every girl should learn to cook. There was a case personally with me. My younger son, when he was about 2-3 years old, he said, he comes to me one day and he says, I want to learn Kathak. Now, my mother-in-law heard it. She took me on one side and she said, Rashmi, kuch bhi ho jaye, Kathak nahi sikhega ye. And now I was quite taken aback. I did not know whether to allow him or not. Now, somewhere I also had a stereotype in my mind कि लड़के तो कथक करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए. As a mother, what is my duty? Allow करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए. इसी तरह के gender stereotypes, I'm sure आप लोगों ने भी कहीं ना कहीं देखे हैं. And I would want some of the stereotypes which have not been listed here, some of the stereotypes, if you can share with me. Is there someone who would want to share with me? It'll be really nice if we can share some more gender stereotypes. Any raised hands? Sir, Dr. Narasimhan, आपने फिर हाथ उठाया हुआ है?
Yes, madam.
हाँ जी सर, बोलिए.
मतलब परिवार में उन लोगों को पहले से ही डिसीजन लेना या डिसीजन लेते समय भाग लेना, मतलब they are not given much privilege to take part in the important decisions taken by the lead of the family.
Correct.
में क्या जो हम बोलते हैं वो फॉलो करो, हम देख लेंगे, ऐसा बोल के उनको वो भविष्य में, मतलब फ्यूचर में उनको बहुत दिक्कत आ जाता है, क्या डिसीजन मैं ले लूं, मुझे तो मौका ही ना मिलता है. मतलब that one point is triggering me from the beginning, that why they are not given that space to take part in important occasions for decision making, for planning, for execution. So that is missing, ma'am, from the beginning. That is missing in many.
100%.
That is one stereotype. I'm sorry, it may be
Absolutely
true.
Absolutely.
The stereotype thinking.
Yes. This family that I shared the case study with this lady, before she left India, she became the vice president in the bank. This was an international bank, and she was leading a team of about 200 people. But when she had to come home and she wanted to make changes in her bedroom and her floor, she had to ask for permission from her father-in-law. And the father-in-law would not give that permission. And how she lived through it, I have no idea. I always saw her smiling. I never saw her complaining. But you are absolutely right. घर के बड़े जो हैं वो decision ले लेते हैं, and we don't know because we have been taught respect करना है, जरूर करना चाहिए. लेकिन sometimes what happens is we forget कि हमें question करना चाहिए, हमें discuss करना चाहिए, हमें logically सोचना चाहिए. We should be accepting the choices of the other people. We have to be non-judgmental and we have to challenge the norms. Now, the questioning and discussioning, we have to discuss it rationally. Now, everybody needs to understand कि बहुत हम जब कह रहे हैं कि चला आया था उसके और अभी भी वो चलेगा, there is a reason वो क्यों चला आ रहा था, where the woman was sitting at home. Industrial revolution से पहले, contraceptive से पहले, the wife would continue to give birth, the husband would continue to go out and earn money and bring money home. Now, when the Industrial Revolution happened, the women stepped out and they went out to work. The moment they went out to work, the equation had to change. And slowly it has changed. It is still continuing to change. As I was researching for this topic, आप सब लोगों को जान के हैरानी होगी, खाली इंडिया में पे गैप नहीं है, खाली इंडिया में पावर गैप नहीं है between males and females at the workplace. Country, Western world में, United States, Southeast Asian countries, all over the world, and when I say even European countries, over there also people are still finding इतना women's lib का हो गया, women को इतनी opportunity मिल रही है. Lot of people can say that बहुत opportunity मिल रही है और क्या चाहिए, but pay gap अभी भी है. What we need to think logically is when a woman is at a workforce and a man is at a workforce, everything should be decided on the basis of excellence, not on the basis of the gender. Masculine है, feminine है, third gender है, इससे कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. What is most important is excellence है कि नहीं है. जिस काम के लिए आप बाहर जा रहे हैं, जिस काम के लिए आपको रखा गया है, are you going to perform it to the best of your ability or not? It is the process that has to be compared, not the gender that has to be compared. As Dr. Simon said, respect the choices made by the others. जो अभी हमने case study में किया, unusual case study है, बहुत घरों में अभी भी ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है, और जरूरी नहीं है कि होना भी चाहिए. Every person has to make their own choice. Whatever works for them, that is something that they need to work upon. They don't need to conform to the societal pressure. हम कौन होते हैं दूसरों को कहने के लिए कि ये आपके लिए ठीक नहीं है, ये ऐसे नहीं करना है. And what is the reason? पहले ऐसा नहीं होता था. पहले जमाना भी तो ऐसा नहीं था. Things are changing, things have changed, and with the changing scenario, with the changing society, we all need to question, we need to think rationally, logically, and we need to be non-judgmental. It is the choice made by the other people to live their life, and we need to respect. So we can only shake those stereotypes when we challenge the norms. और जरूरी नहीं है कि सबको change ही करना है. If it is happily working for you a norm, by all means stay with it, but it is not compulsory. The word here is essential. Zaruri nahi hai. And that is the first step here. When we shake those stereotypes, we are actually changing our thoughts. And changing our thoughts is the first step that we need to take when we want to be more gender sensitive. Any questions here? Anyone? I don't see many raised hands. Shall I move forward? Let's go to the next step. After we have worked, okay, so let's go. Dr. Amarjeet wants to share something. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
मैम एग्जैक्टली मैटर ये है कि जब हम किसी भी विमेन के लिए उनकी आज़ादी की बात करते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम ये आती है लोगों के माइंडसेट में. एक्चुअली हेलो,
हाँ जी,
इज ऑडिबल?
यस, एब्सोल्युटली.
यस यस. सो मैम जस्ट लाइक इक्वालिटी की बात करते हैं तो जो मैम एक होता है कि जो सोसाइटी में जो पर्सपेक्टिव है उसको चेंज करना पड़ेगा. हेलो.
यस सर.
हाँ, जैसे मैं मेरी वाइफ जो है वो मेडिकल फील्ड से है और वो काम करती है, तो जो उसके इन्वायरमेंट है वो वैसे नहीं है. वहाँ पर जो वर्किंग कल्चर है वैसा नहीं है. तो ये चीज़ों को एक कलेक्टिवली वे में देखना होगा, तभी जा करके तो माइंडसेट, जैसे ये चीज़ें मेल पर्सन के माइंड को चेंज करना होगा, ना कि विमेन को. मौका देना सही है, लेकिन जो माइंडसेट है, जैसे हम बच्चों को ये बार बार छोटे बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि बच्चे रोते नहीं हैं, मेल पर्सन रोते नहीं हैं, ऐसा तो कहीं ना कहीं ये उनमें थिंकिंग डेवलप होती है कि दे आर सुपर अदर देन वीमेन. सो पहले ये चीजें माइंडसेट जो है हमारे मेल पर्सन है उनमें चेंज लानी होगी, अदर देन वीमेन. बस
सर बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं आप. और इसी चेंज लाने के लिए ही तो हम कह रहे हैं कि हर चीज को हमें क्वेश्चन करना चाहिए. कौन कहता है कि मेन इमोशनल नहीं होते? और you know, a lot of times they say, अरे you know, hysterical हो रही हो तुम. अरे hysterical नहीं है. There is something, it's uncontrollable. And probably the man in a certain situation, probably when he gets hysterical, maybe he's taking it out in another way. Maybe he's not crying loudly, but who says that he can't cry loudly? It should be acceptable. Anybody and everybody. आपको क्या लगता है कि जब एक प्रेशर होता है, यहाँ पे इस ग्रुप में हमारे पास मेन हैं, विमेन भी हैं, और ये सबके लिए देखना जरूरी है कि खाली विमेन नहीं, मेन के लिए भी जेंडर सेंसिटिव होना जरूरी है. दोनों के लिए होना है. देखिए पेंडुलम पहले मेन की तरफ था, फिर वो विमेन्स लिप से विमेन की तरफ गया, अभी भी पूरा नहीं गया है. We still need to cover a lot of gaps, and then an equilibrium has to be attained. उसके लिए हमें हर हालत में क्वेश्चन करना है, डिस्कस करना है, लॉजिकली सोचना है. वो बहुत जरूरी है हमारे लिए. तभी हमारे जो ये स्टीरियोटाइप्स हमारे दिमाग में, अगर हम सुनने के लिए राजी हैं, अगर हम सोचने के लिए राजी हैं, तभी तो वो प्रोसेस शुरू होगा. और द फर्स्ट प्रोसेस इज द थॉट्स, एंड द नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस इज ऑल अबाउट द वर्ड्स. थैंक यू डॉक्टर अमृत. एंड लेट्स लुक एट द नेक्स्ट स्टेप. जब थॉट्स हमारे चेंज होते हैं, जब हम हर तरह से कोशिश करते हैं दैट वी हैव टू चेंज आवर थॉट्स, वी आर वेरी प्रोएक्टिव इन दैट. We think all the time, मुझे जो मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ या मैं जो ये सोच रही हूँ वो ठीक है कि नहीं ठीक है. The moment that questioning comes within our mind, that is the time we are ready to shake those stereotypes, and we all need to do it. Now the next thing is, अब हमने सोच लिया पर उसको follow up नहीं किया, तो उसका क्या फायदा? Now follow up करने के लिए first step है हमारा words. Let's look at the words. I'm going to share a passage with you, and I'm going to read it slowly with you. In the city of Detroit, precarious employment is arguably man's greatest challenge today. This city is still recovering from the effects of the recent economic crisis, but the benefits have not been equally shared amongst her citizens. This is wreaking havoc on workers from all occupations, from builders and policemen through to teachers and even waitresses. I want you to pay attention to the underlined words. And the topic here is, the heading here is change your words. Now let's talk about it. When we say the city of Detroit, precarious employment is arguably man's greatest challenge today. What are we trying to say? खाली आदमी का challenge है, औरत का challenge नहीं है? What is the meaning that is coming across? At least a question to दिमाग में उठता है, that is it they are talking about the man? Is it talking about women? Or are they talking about the whole population? Anyone? Anyone who would want to share? What is it that we are getting from here? Any raised hands, please? To me, it says that it is only about Dr. Narasimhan. Thank you so much, sir. Kahiye, please.
Hope people don't mistake me that every time I am talking. Sorry.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, but others are
So far,
encouraged too.
so far, the community has witnessed these people alone taking position in those jobs. Right? They have seen only just men working as police like that. So it would have hit their mind like that very strongly that the opposite gender, the female gender, they are unfit for that. It is not easy to break that thought from the society's mind. And what we can do here is, instead of coming directly to the society, if these concepts are taken from the childhood in the schools after the 4th or 5th standard, where children develop thinking ability, the girls and boys are given at least taken a period, one period. A person who's highly matured comes to schools and colleges, have an open discussion with them. Out of 100, at least 5 will turn good for giving that space, the right space to the other person. And it's not easy to educate the society directly with all these things. Because when they try, the result is the amount of result is very, very less. And if we take a 5 years time, definitely the ratio level will be so high, ma'am. That's what is my belief. It should start from the childhood after 4th standard, 5th standard, where the children can be given an opportunity to express themselves. A girl should say what are the challenges that she faces on the street to the boys openly. Then the boy will realize.
Yes.
Then boy will realize that yes, he's also one among the community, that one day he would have tried like that to some other girl. He will stop that habit. Like that, he will slowly he will start flourishing up from within, from the heart. And then he will turn generous. And if it starts from the childhood like this, then the outcome is phenomenon, ma'am.
And so
will be phenomenon. Thank you, ma'am.
Exactly. And that's where I'm getting that we, as educators, we definitely need to do that, but we don't need one full period, sir. Every teacher, every person, whether in the classroom or outside the classroom, we need to shake our stereotypes. We need to change our thoughts. We need to change the words that we use. So the word here is ye man's. Should there be a woman's? Or is this word actually necessary here in this sentence also or not? Hold that thought. Let's look at the next sentence. The city is still recovering from the effects of the recent economic crisis, but the benefits have not been equally shared amongst her citizens. Look at our language. हमने एक city को भी feminine gender बना दिया है. This is wreaking havoc on workers from all occupations, from builders and policemen. Are we saying only policemen? पुलिस में खाली आदमी लोग काम करते हैं, ladies नहीं काम करती हैं. Through to teachers and even waitresses, the choice of words here has to be thought through. Let's think about the appropriate word choice here. In the city of Detroit, precarious employment is arguably the greatest challenge today. We don't need the word man here. The city is still recovering from the effects of the recent economic crisis, but the benefits have not been equally shared amongst its citizens, gender neutral. This is wreaking havoc on workers from all occupations, from builders and police officers. The moment we say officers, we are actually taking into consideration that there are going to be men and women both employed in the police force. Through to teachers and even waitresses. That means not waiters. Of course, it means waiters also. So what is the word that we should replace here? It has to be wait staff. Our words also have to change. Our thoughts have to change. Our words have to change. Not only just giving one period is not going to be enough. Each and every one of us has to be responsible in using the correct language. First, we use the correct language ourselves, and then only it becomes a habit, and then children who look at us as role models, as when we are educators, when children look at us as role models, they imbibe, unconsciously they imbibe what we are saying and what we are doing. So we have to change our thoughts, we have to change our words. Then only children will grow up every day by every teacher, by every person they are coming in contact with, even the members of their families, even the peers. Unless and until it does not become part of our fabric, society fabric, change will not happen. Let's look at another example here. We are talking about words. The Chocolate Foundation Board is looking for a new chairman. Do we need the word chairman? Do they only want a man to be a chairman? Could there be a chairwoman? What is the right word here? Think about it. To take the helm and provide strategic vision to move the organization forward. He will be expected to participate actively in defining the organizational priorities of the coming year, drawing from his extensive business insights and quickly mastering all the necessary details of the foundation's functioning. The paragraph is clearly using a male gender. What does it mean? नौकरी सिर्फ एक मेल पर्सन के लिए ही है. That is the assumption that we have. Now, if we have to get rid of that assumption, if we want to talk about equality of rights, anybody who has those qualifications and who can do what they're expecting that person to do can actually apply for the job. That person can be a man, that person can be a woman. So in that case, what should be, instead of the word chairman, what should be the right word?
Ma'am, it should be chairperson.
Chairperson. Thank you so much. Let's look at the next. Now, if we are saying chairperson, then how do I replace he? How do I replace he? Anyone else? I know Dr. Narasimhan is making my job really easy, but I would want somebody else also. Due respect, Dr. Narasimhan, but I do want others to wake up. There are students here. I'm sure they have something to say. What should I replace he with? Let's see. There are some answers coming. Here, let's see. They. It could be they, or it could be he or she. It could be he or she, or it could be they. Thank you very much for sharing that. Let's look at the third one. For some reason, yeah. Drawing from his extensive business. Now, what should be the appropriate replacement for his? People who are writing, they can unmute themselves and say the word, make it so much easier. What should be the word? They. Or it could be their. Yes, thank you. Drawing from their extensive business insights or drawing from his/her extensive business insights. It's okay to use slash there. His and her, it's absolutely fine. There is also acceptable. It is absolutely right. Now, when we learn the English language, when we are in 3rd grade, 4th grade, एक बड़ी लंबी सी लिस्ट मिलती है हमें, चलिए इसको याद करके आइए. Masculine gender, feminine gender, उसका टेस्ट भी होता है and all. But times are changing. We don't always have to look at that. Let's look at some of very small list I've picked up here. Steward, masculine. Stewardess, feminine. Neutral, flight attendant. We have to stay in this category most of the time. Servant, maid, domestic help. This is where the last column is where we should be aiming to be. Host, hostess. It's just host is fine. Anchor man, anchor. Actress. Have you seen for all the actresses? Earlier, the word was actresses. Even very recently, I was reading something about Priyanka Chopra. The word was actor. That changes are happening in society, but each and every person, we have to be so aware of our thoughts, of our words, that we need to be careful. We need to stay in gender neutral territory all times. Member of legislative, firefighters. Only when we have changed our words that the major change will happen. Then the actions will happen. Let's look at this. What is it that we need to avoid? We need to avoid patronizing language that trivializes women. I will ask one of the girls. No, I will ask one of the women to get the files. Every time we are using a title and reference for a man, we tend to say Mrs. Yakumari. Why do we need to identify a woman by the last name of her father or by the last name of her husband? She has been given a name. Let's give that name. We want to give respect. Let's use the prefix, the title Miss. It is not meant for divorcees. It is not meant for single women. It is meant for all the women, Miss. Unless and until you meet me and you're saying Ms. Bal, and I tell you, no, I'm okay to be called Mrs. Behel. And then that is a cue I'm giving you, that she's okay to be using that title. Let me use Mrs. So we also have to be aware of the cues which the other person is giving to us. Otherwise, gender neutral, we do not also give the title Mrs. or Kumari. We stick to the gender neutral word or sorry, we use to the appropriate word which is Miss. The naming conventions. With शादी का कार्ड आता है Mr. and Mrs. Ramesh Bhandari. Mrs. B. Ramesh Bhandari है, Mr. B. Ramesh Bhandari है, या Mrs. and Mr. Ramesh Bhandari. Wife का भी तो नाम है. It is better to say Mr. Ramesh and Mrs. Jaya Bhandari, or Mrs. Jaya and Mr. Ramesh Bhandari. Or you could just say Ramesh and Jaya Bhandari. We have to change. We do not have to stick to Mrs. and Mr. Bhandari. Word phrase hierarchy. Husband का नाम पहले आना है, wife का नाम पहले आना है, wife का नाम पहले आना है कि husband का नाम पहले आना है. Shake it. Shake it. जरूरी नहीं है कि जो पहले होता आया है वही होता रहेगा. We must use the words appropriately. Adjectives. When we start describing women, we talk pushy hai, bossy hai, ditzy hai, emotional hai, hysterical hai. These over the, as you said, generally speaking, हम यही words use करते हैं. But over the time, these words have taken a negative connotation. They have become very associated with women behavior. So we need to move away from that. And we need to use words which are really appropriate. वो वाले words हमने use करने हैं which we will use for a man. The same words we have to use for a woman. Will I say that he's pushy, he's bossy? I would say he's assertive. So the woman also is assertive. Silly, not ditzy. Ditzy is actually used for silly women. Initially it used to be. No, we will use silly because a silly can be a boy, can be a girl. Emotional. You're emotional because you feel something. And that feeling is not restricted to women. Only men can also feel. Boys can also feel. The third gender can also feel. So the word to be, appropriate word to be used here is passionate, enthusiastic, empathetic. We don't use the word hysterical. What do we use? Irrational. I do not like your irrational behavior. We don't say don't be hysterical. It has a negative connotation. It has a connotation where we are trying to put down the woman. We need to change our words so that we can change our actions that Dr. Narasimhan has been so much talking about. Let's look at some more things that we can avoid in our words. We don't have to use gender biased nouns. Look at the example. Every nurse should take care of her uniform. Kyun bhai? The nurse cannot be a man. So if I have to replace this her, the word should be every nurse should take care of their own uniform or his or her uniform. Now you see every stands for one. So that means it's better to give a his or her slash. English speaking people, the grammatically correct people will say every means one. आपको one ही लगाना है वहाँ पे, तो या his लगाएं या her लगाएं. तो हम his slash her लगा के sentence लिखेंगे तो वो गलत नहीं है, या वो बोलेंगे तो वो गलत नहीं है. The ship slipped her moorings. We have already assigned a gender to the ship. It's inanimate object, but we have decided this is a she. No, we need to use a gender sensitive, gender appropriate word, and the word is its. Avoid gender connotation if the gender is unknown. You throw like a girl. Ya ladki ki tarah ro raha hai. No, that is not the way. We need to find the appropriate word. If you want to say that somebody is not throwing the ball properly, you're going to say you do not throw well. You are not going to bring in a gender comparison. And when I say you, I remind myself also of the same thing, that I also cannot say it. And so when I say you here, I mean all of us. We all have to think of the appropriate words. Avoid irrelevant information about gender. Preeti is a career woman. Now, if I was talking about Abhinav, will I say Abhinav is a career man? If I'm not going to say that, then why should I use the word woman? For a lady, we say she's a career woman. The right word, all of us have to think. There are different ways. Preeti is very career oriented, or Preeti is career conscious. Same way, we imagine yourself If the word can be used for a male, the same words you're going to use for a female. Then only we are talking about equality. Then only we are talking about whether we are being gender sensitive or not. Avoid improper innuendos. Improper innuendos. Her language, chahe English hai, chahe Hindi hai, chahe koi local language hai, her every word has two different meanings. You're looking very hot today. That has a very negative connotation. Maybe you can say to somebody you're very close to, in your own personal space, in your own personal area but not in a work environment. You have to avoid, we all have to avoid using improper innuendos. Extremely important. Now, we have looked at different words. Now, we change our thoughts, we change our words, we work on changing our thoughts, we work on changing our words. And now, these two things we do, but our actions are not incongruent with our words. Our actions are not reflecting to the other people as educators, to the students, that what we are saying, we mean the same. We have to demonstrate that through actions. And what actions do we need to take or we need to avoid? Let's look at them. We cannot separate boys and girls into separate lines. I was recently reading about this, that during one of the functions in one of the schools, the direction came that the boys will take the staircase on the left, the girls will take the staircase on the right. Why? We need to, the moment we do that, somewhere in the minds of those little children, we are putting that segregation around. We don't have to do that. We must avoid segregating boys and girls in every scenario, whether it is the sports activities. We can't say cricket sirf boys ke liye, girls ke liye nahi hai. Kyun nahi hai? Chess sirf girls ke liye, home science sirf girls ke liye. Not necessary. Maybe look at all the master chefs, the cooks and all. Whole lot of them are men. Look at the leading designers. Most of them, or I would say a whole lot of them are men. Women are also there, but a lot of men are there. In fact, the whole designer labels and all started with more men coming into the front. We need to mix up boys and girls to work on projects together. We need to, when we are, now Dr. Narasimhan was saying we should have one period. You want to have one period? Absolutely fine. But what I'm saying here is that as we are all teachers here, in some way or the other, we are educators. We are going to be educators. We are already educators. Whenever we come across an article or a video clip and where there you see a gender bias, have a 2-minute discussion about it. The government is doing a lot of effort. All the states, a lot of effort is being made to change these connotations in the textbooks. But to get a perfect scenario, it is going to take time. So as teachers, as adults, as well-informed adults, it is our job. The moment we come across some kind of gender bias, instead of putting it under the carpet, it is better to spend 2 minutes extra in the class and to discuss it. Any educational material that you choose to supplement your teaching, whether it is an audio clip, whether it is a video clip, text, images, we have to make sure there is equal representation of both the genders and they are free from gender stereotypes. When we are picking up class leaders, make sure we are picking up both the girls as well as the women. We are asking somebody to help us. Please do not decide that the girl is weak, she's not going to move the table. It's absolutely fine. Let the girl say, sir, mujhse nahi ho raha hai. And that is a choice that we need to respect. But from our side, the opportunities that we are giving, they have to be very, very thought-evoking. In our minds, we have to think, are we being gender sensitive or not? It's very important. Now, before I move on to the more actions, do we have more insights here. I did not want to create too many slides and too much of reading material here, but I'm sure there are more actions that you guys can share that we can do. Anyone? Can we have more actions that you feel that we should be incorporating in our body, in our life, which can actually help us to try to avoid gender stereotypes? Any more actions? I have somebody responding here. Anyone else? Dr. Smita, thank you. Any other? No, but I'm sure here what I would urge all of you is to look at these steps and decide, am I being gender sensitive or not? There are going to be so many actions we take, so many words we speak. We need to be emotionally intelligent. We need to be proactive in our thinking and acting out. Our actions have to follow our words. More actions. Now we are not only talking about a classroom situation, not only as educators, we are going to talking about actions as human beings also. Whenever we are interacting with the opposite gender, we need to keep a social distance of 3 feet. आप आमने सामने खड़े होके बात कर रहे हैं, 3 feet का distance तो जरूरी. Handshake कर रहे हैं, lingering touch नहीं चाहिए. There is no need. It has to be crisp. 2-3 times you shake it, and that's it. And you don't even have to do the handshake. If the other person extends it, you want to shake it, go ahead. But it has to be limited to 2 or 3 bounces, that's all. When you are leaning in to guide somebody, to help someone, right, always ask for consent. Now, consent, we always say only in one terms, not necessary. Consent is every time we are invading the personal space of another person, irrespective whether he's a man or a woman. It goes both ways. We do not have to make the other person feel uncomfortable. We have to be very careful. So when we are leaning in, we are guided, we are trying to come in closer, we have to ask for permission. May I? Very important. We do not give suggestive stares. Goes for both genders. नीचे से लेके ऊपर तक एक लंबी सी look देना. No. You can look. Sometimes our teachers late आ रहे हैं बच्चे, किसी को look देना पड़ता है. Make it very quick. Don't make it lingering. By chance, if you make a mistake, although we are all being very careful, but mistake happens. We are humans. Apologize immediately. Only when we are aware of our thoughts, only when we are aware of our words, only when we are aware of our actions, we are being emotionally intelligent, that we will know that we have made a mistake. We will be observing the other person. So your eyes speak, your body speaks. We don't have to make the other person uncomfortable. And if we do, we need to apologize immediately. And apology means not to repeat. That means we become proactive. तब गलती करी थी, ये दोबारा नहीं होनी है. We have to remind ourselves. We have to listen. We have to observe. We have to look for cues, what the other person is saying, and then only we adjust our actions. Now, in a personal space, I reiterate, in a personal space, the other person has already given you the cue. He or she has already entered your personal space. The body language is going to be different. What we are talking about here is in our work environment or with people that we do not know very well. We need to be completely aware of our actions. I wanted to show you a video, but I don't think we have a time. We are just touching the 30 minutes here. But I want to come to this one. Practice, practice, practice. Shake your stereotype thoughts. That's your first step. हर चीज क्वेश्चन करना है. लड़की ने छोटे कपड़े क्यों पहने हैं? तभी तो लड़के छेड़ेंगे. लड़की ने शॉर्ट्स क्यों पहनी है? Things happen, it was her fault. She made a choice. We are responsible. Every person in the society becomes responsible for their thoughts, for their words, and for their actions. The society will become a better place to live. So we need to practice, unless and until we do not stop practice, unless and until our thoughts, our words, and our actions become our habits. Our habits become our values. And the moment our values change, our values will set the course for new norms or no norms at all. These gender stereotypes, these stereotyping anything and everything, maybe there'll be nothing, or maybe there'll be new stereotypes, and we'll be having another workshop to talk about them. But only when we, as Mahatma Gandhi said, we need to change our thoughts, our words, our actions, our beliefs, our values, and then only we will achieve, then only we will reach our new destiny. And the destiny is to become gender sensitive. That is what we should be aiming for. Now, I'm leaving you here with this thought. Again, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. So let's promise to ourselves today that we are going to shake those gender stereotypes. We are going to change our thoughts. We are going to change the words that we use, whether we are using them in verbal language or we are using them in written language, and promise to change our actions. Then only we will give rise to a new society. Students, children will look at us, will imbibe the new behavior. They will teach it to the new generations, and voila, things would be good. Thank you very much. With that, I end. I'm open to any feedback here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Anita Singh, ma'am, for a vote of thanks. Anita, ma'am.
Thank you, Rosie. Let me begin, first of all, by thanking Ms. Rashmi Behel, our resource person for today's program on the topic, sensitizing us on such a sensitive topic, gender sensitization. Ma'am, you started with such a wonderful quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and how you entwined it into your presentation in such minute detail and made it so simple for all of us to understand. It was wonderful hearing you today. Your global experience across culture and tradition with real-time example, I think everybody must have understood how to deal with this particular simple topic, but yet a very complicated one, gender sensitization. Ma'am, we are grateful to you for sparing your time and gracing this occasion. And we look forward to more of your such sessions from you. I must most sincerely thank Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Program Director, CDRF India, Principal, SARASWATI College of Professional Studies, for not only inviting Ms. Rashmi Behel for this program, but for continuously inviting such stalwarts in the field of education that our academic calendar year after year boosts up great education in every field with rich experience. He organizes all our programs with such ease and precision that it really amazes us how he's able to cope by inviting people from all over the nation as well as abroad. I must also thank Ms. Rosie Tegga, the MOC and the program coordinator for today's program, for meticulously planning the whole program and involving all our students into this program. Dipali Sharma, I must also thank you for taking out time and introducing our guest. I also in the end thank all our guests, all the faculty members and the students. Without your presence today, no program could succeed. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Anita.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you to our resource person, Mrs. Rashmi Bahel, ma'am, for this great online workshop. Thank you all the participants for attending our workshop. We truly appreciated your attendance and support. And before leaving, kindly fill the feedback form. Thank you so much.
Rosie, can you take a picture of all the participants, please?
Kindly switch on your camera, all the participants.
Yes, please. And can you click a picture of me as well? Because I can't see myself, right? When I'm looking at everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Feedback form is in the chat box. आप लोग भर लें feedback form, then you can leave.
Can I say 2 words here?
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure.
Dr. Sanjay, thank you for the opportunity. Rosie, for taking care of all the logistics. Dr. Narasimhan, for really being my right-hand person here. Thank you for sharing the thoughts. I wish we had more time. We would have had more discussions, longer discussions, and actually would have gone deeper into it. And I really wish that all the other students would have participated. They should not feel shy. They should feel that they are all welcome to share their thoughts. No thought is silly thought, and everybody should actually take part. Then only the change will come. Then only our thoughts will change. More discourse, more discussion, more thoughts. Then only we will be able to come to a logical conclusion of what is right and what is wrong. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rosie, again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.